If there has ever been a time to get into X-Men comics, I am telling you, it is right now. So the New York City Comic Con event, I know I'm late. X-Men had their own panel and they announced all the issues that they're going to be having coming out in 2026. I'm talking about a Deadpool solo series, a Storm relaunch, an X-Force series, Wolverine's continuing, a Cyclops solo run, a Rogue solo run, X-23 and Gabby run, X-Men's continuing, Uncanny's continuing, Magik and Colossus miniseries. All of that is coming out in 2026, and most importantly, they are new books. But what makes this even better, if you haven't really been in like the X-Men space and you've really just been watching it, but you haven't been reading it for yourself and you want to get into it, but you feel like you're just way too far gone right now, there's an event called X-Men Age of Revelation, and I made a video on that explaining what this event is and what it's about. It takes place in the future, but it's about current X-Men comics right now. But they launched 16 new books. But not only X-Men, there's Cloak or Dagger, there's Radioactive Spider-Man, there's Binary for the people that are into like Captain Marvel, Carol, or like Phoenix fans. It's been out for maybe like 1 or 2 weeks. There's like Iron Frost, where it's like Iron Man and Emma book, and they're together and stuff. They're figuring things out in Age of Revelation. There's just a lot of variety and a lot of options to choose from. But all these events, this is going to take place for like the next 3 months, and it's going to end towards the end of the year. And then right after that, we're going right into 2026, and we're getting all these brand new issues. I have the descriptions here of what these new issues are going to be about. Some of them aren't released yet, but we'll go through them one by one. I forgot to mention Emma Frost might be opening up the Xavier School again, but like her own thing. I don't know, they teased it, but I'm explaining. We'll start with the new solo issues first, because I think that's just like the most important and what people actually want to read. So let me get into Rogue. So Rogue is getting a brand new series, Rogue #1, but it is a 5-issue limited series, and it comes out in January. The description says you can't outrun the past. Rogue has a beautiful life with her sweet Remy LeBeau, but there are still skeletons in her closet, ones that come out when she least expects it. Rogue has worked so hard to leave her villainous past behind. Unfortunately, the past doesn't stay in the past. What happens when it slams you right in the face? What past sin would make Rogue leave Haven House? Do Mystique and Destiny hold the answer? I don't expect people to know who Destiny is, but I do expect people to know who Mystique is. I hate that it's a limited series, but Rogue getting her own run is just so good, because people attach her a lot to Remy, of course, because that's how she's written. Her and her husband are like tangible together. They're featured in everything together. So for her to get her own solo run and to talk about her past stuff, and outside of her just being a perfect hero, that is such a good storyline to go with. So for the Rogue fans, this would be something really interesting to get into. I know there's a lot of Deadpool fans. So Wade Wilson, Deadpool #1. It's a new ongoing series going on sale in February. And it says dangerous, unhinged, and deadly. Deadpool is a man on the brink, and that means jobs are deadlier and the stakes are higher and the humor is darker than ever before. But Wade Wilson isn't laughing. A dark memory haunts Deadpool as a mysterious client leads him down a troubling path. This way lies redemption? No, something far worse. Wade can never be forgiven for what he has done. The new ongoing series begins. I've never been a huge Deadpool fan myself personally, but I know a lot of people are. So I know Deadpool #1s, they are going to automatically sell like hotcakes, but that's something, if you're interested in that, it's going to be a new ongoing series. It's not going to be a limited series. So you'll have a lot of issues, and if it's popular, it's going to keep on continuing. Magik and Colossus are getting a team-up book, and that's something that I'm really excited for. But again, it's also going to be a limited series. It's going to be 5 issues. But they actually gave no description on that. That is really unfortunate, at least as of what I'm seeing right now. But you guys should know by now, Magik and Colossus are brother and sister. We rarely see them together, especially recently, not at all. I haven't seen Colossus in I don't know how long. So them getting a team-up book together is really cool. There's a lot of Magik fans out there, so this should be interesting. Storm is getting a relaunch, and if you haven't read any of the Storm in the past, she had a series that came out in 2024 that led into 2025. And I thought the book was actually really well. The art was phenomenal. I think the storytelling was really good. But I know for a lot of fans are getting into Storm, might just think that Storm just controls the weather and she's an Omega level mutant. At this point, the way they are writing her, it is like so far beyond that. She has become like a thunder god, like Avatar, and she's fought gods. She's not even on Earth right now. But this relaunch is going to be her coming back to Earth, at least from what it sounds like. So this is going to be an ongoing series called Storm's Earth Mightiest Mutant #1. And it says, the war above all, the most dangerous war in existence. Thunders are louder and closer as the cosmos braces for annihilation. Storm, unaware of what the upcoming threats are, turns her gaze inward to her home, to Earth. Earth's mightiest mutant becomes Earth's protector once more in a daring new chapter of her life. In this new beginning, Storm shares a Japanese tea ceremony with an enemy and visits France for a masquerade with monsters. However, it all ends in a gut-wrenching funeral. Mistress Death is never far behind. With Death stalking in the shadows, expect bloodshed, brutality, bearism, and bold emotions in the brand new Storm, Earth's Mightiest Mutant series. So like I said, it seems like she's going to be coming back down to Earth, and there's going to be something going on with different types of villains. But Storm is such a good character to read. She has a lot of good development, and she's such a good leader, and she's such a good main focal topic. That's why she's so iconic. We are getting a Cyclops solo run, first and foremost, and I don't think you guys understand like how rare this is. Cyclops is one of the best written leaders in Marvel history, but doesn't really find as much success or even get the chance to in solo runs because he's so known to be a leader of the X-Men, and without the X-Men, it's very hard for them to process without Cyclops, at least in some certain issues. There's obviously different leaders, of course, but that's where Cyclops just fits the best, you know? And I've always wanted him to be written more like Captain America, where he can be in a standalone. And that's what it looks like we are getting. They didn't give us a description for it, but it's also a mini series. It's a new limited series, but that comes out in February. For the X-Force fans, there's something called Inglorious X-Force, and this is going to be the description. It's going to be an ongoing series that comes out in January as well. It says Cable returns from the future with a handful of clues and gaping holes in his memory. An assassination is at hand, and it's up to Wolverine, Archangel, and his former teammate Boom Boom to follow Cable's lead into the fire. But who are they after, and what secrets does Cable's faulty memory hide? Be here for the ground floor of mystery and strap in for the most extreme thrill ride in X-Dom as an all-new X-Force blazes into battle. I am also not a huge X-Force fan, but I love the X-Force runs back into like the 90s with Kane's art. That was really good. That's a brutal X-Force story. I think they kind of got away from that. Even Cable back then was like crazy. But I am interested. I know a lot of people like Wolverine. Archangel he's one of the best X-Men written characters ever as well. Whenever he is featured, like his character arc from when he first was, and then getting like with Apocalypse and transforming himself, it was crazy. Wolverine has been an ongoing series. I've been loving Wolverine runs so far. It's pretty typical for the most part, but I guess he's going into a new arc right now. The description says a flagship series return as Wolverine crosses paths with Silver Sable in a mission to save Morlocks. But are they on the same side? And who has Logan in their sights? The all-new era starts now. So he's going to be going into a new era arc as well. And I think that'll be interesting. I've been loving the Logan run so far. But of course, if you love Wolverine, this is where you can pick up off. My personal favorite run right now is Uncanny X-Men. The X-Men run is good as well. We'll talk about that next. But Uncanny X-Men introduced this group of kids called the Outliers. I could do a whole video explaining that as well. But my favorite X-Men character currently is Ransom. I have Ransom stuff hung on the walls here. And he is a mutant that is related to Sunspot, and he's kind of like a Sebastian Shaw Bishop type of like energy absorber. And he dates Temper. I think Gal Simone is such a good writer with this Uncanny storyline, and it's going to be continuing because it was really popular. And there was an event with Mutana, who was like this mutant like acting star thing, but she despised mutants and she wants to kill mutants. And they confronted her about it, and she ended up holding her own and showing like some type of powers of her own. It was a very short run, so this is going to be something that she's going to be featured in more. So we'll read the description. A festive event is interrupted by the daughter of darkness herself, Mutana, and she has unimaginable favor to ask the Uncanny X-Men, and woe betide them all if they refuse. It's a murderous mutants and cake and blades, and you will look very differently at one of the core X-Men after this bloody issue. I have no idea which core X-Men they're going to be talking about. That scares me a little bit, but it says core X-Men, but it's something that I really suggest you guys get into. They introduced new mutants. Same thing with Exceptional X-Men. And the current X-Men too. They have a lot of new characters on there. I think you guys should check that out. And two more things to go here. They showed the X-Men storyline that's continuing after Age of Revelation. If you guys know, that happened before Age of Revelation, and it's going to be continuing after. They announced issues 23 and 24, so we'll read off 23 first. One X-Men of the present has been stranded in Age of Revelation, fighting against the impossible odds of the world tomorrow. But while they're there, what has their future counterpart been doing in the body of the present? Again, if you want to know what X-Men Age of Revelation is and what's actually going on in that run right now, I made a video explaining what X-Men Age of Revelation is. It's like a 16-minute video, and I went out through all the details of what's going on. But basically, Scott mind got taken 10 place into the future because that future version of X-Men really needed his past mind. So I think that means like they're swapping brains. So maybe when they're going back into the present, the future version of Cyclops' mind is in his present body, and he's gonna go to try to hurt Doug Ramsey because he is Age of Revelation. Issue 24 says, bring on the bad guys. In the wake of the Age of Revelation, the Gene terrorist group 3K has been revitalized, but will be their internal screens undo them. If you don't know what 3K is, they're like a made mutant group. Like somebody made them into mutants and they wanted them to be like their own form of X-Men. They fought the current X-Men a bunch of different times and stuff, but it's all ran by Cassandra Nova. And it's been really interesting. Like I said, this storyline has been going like up and down. They kind of like go to it and then go away from it later on. But 3K is a very important group in current X-Men comics right now. All right, and last but not least, they didn't give us a bunch of information on this, but they did show this image here, and this is basically going to be the event of In the Shadows of Tomorrow, and they have Emma on the front cover of it. And word on the street, on Twitter and things like that, people are thinking that Emma's going to be reopening the school for mutants again. She has her own solo run, but it's like taking place in the past. But she does have a present run, and it's called Exceptional X-Men. And she's leading like a new group of mutants there. And that's basically what she was doing. She was teaching them how to use their powers. She fought for them. They fought Sinister together, all type of stuff. There's new mutants in there. So a lot of people think that they're going to be bringing them into this new group, and they're going to be opening up a school. Like I said, if you want to get into X-Men comics at all, this is the best time to do it. I'm trying to tell you, like, this is going to be the perfect time to do it. There's a bunch of new #1s coming out. There's an event going on currently. And then of course, I'll be here to explain the biggest events of what's going on. I'll be more consistent on that. But if you're new here, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Use the new hype feature if you can. Please like the video. But without further ado, there's a lot of stuff we can record, but I'll see y'all in the next one.